Alright, this is Daryl Olson again from the Jackson Fishing Team, and this week's smallmouth fly that we're going to tie is called Kreelex. It was originally tied and, I don't know, invented by Kraft. It's pretty similar to tying a Clouser Minnow. It uses the same techniques, and except it uses a material called Kreelex, and we're going to use some silver Kreelex and gold Kreelex, and both of these gold and silver things, I don't know, maybe Christmas tree tinsel, whatever you want to call it, is very thin, hair-like. But the ones that we're using is holographic, so there's some reds, oranges, blues, greens that reflect off of both the silver and the gold. It's been my go-to Kreelex material for this fly for bass and panfish. I've used other Kreelex materials for tying like electric chicken for saltwater fish like redfish, but we're going to concentrate on this one here. I'm going to be tying them in a size 4. Again, getting ready for that Greenbrier smallmouth fishing trip coming up here in, I believe, in May. So why don't we just shut up and we'll start tying. I'll show you what it looks like. This is my version of Kraft's Kreelex fly. We'll explain the materials as we go along. Normally, since it's got a bead or barbell style eye, it's going to more or less fish upside down like a Clouser Minnow, and you're going to always want your lighter body on the lighter color on the bottom and the darker color on top in there on that part. So why don't we go ahead and get started. And the hook I'm going to use is a streamer hook from Mustad, an R73 9671, a size 4 for smallmouth, and even the size 4 for big brim works really well on there. So why don't we go ahead and get one of these in there, and I'm going to go ahead and debarb my hook. And you can use your vise, but I kind of like using a little pliers for debarbing, so I'm not maybe chipping my jaws on there. And nothing wrong if you want to do that. It's just, I don't know. That's just me in there. I'm going to use white thread. In this case, I'm using some A-dot. You can probably go 6 or maybe even 3-aught. And I'm going to start the thread right back behind the eye of the hook. The eye of the hook right there, and we'll break this off. And I'm going to be using some Dazl-Eyes 1/8 nickel, and just like on a Clouser where you're putting a barbell on, I like to measure the width, the length of the bead or the barbell to where and that gets me pretty close to maybe that 1/3 or 1/4 of there. And I use the tweezers just so that you can see that what I was talking about, how I measure it. And we're going to go ahead and get started on there. And the Dazl-Eyes are a little bit different than, let's say, a barbell eye. It's you can, I don't know if you can see that, but it's more hourglass shape versus a barbell is a barbell shape, you know. You know, that's the difference a little bit. So with the hourglass eye, it kind of like the hook sits in it a little bit where the distribution of that Dazl-Eye or that hourglass thing is easier to get into place to divide your eye in rights and lefts in there. And just like a barbell eye, I'm going to go ahead and add a little dab of super glue, just so that it doesn't work loose by hitting stumps and rocks on the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it helicoptered around there. Give it a couple more overs. And then I'm going to take my thread back to where the barb used to be, so we can tie in the tail. This is really a simple fly. Now, after we get the tail in, this is maybe, I'm tying it more of a guide fly style. You know, you could add some body material, and I'll talk about that when we get to that point. But originally when Chuck Kraft created this, there was no body material, and people nowadays are doing that. We're going to go ahead and take our take a hunk out of our silver here. Not a lot, you know, it's just like anything else when it comes to like these Clouser Minnows and that a little goes a long way. It gives you more action in the water. So I'm probably I don't know, 1/8 of a pencil or something like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the length of the hook. And I'm going to tie in the material to build the body of the material up. And I don't know, I'm probably going to get my hand in the way here, but I'm going to take and tie this material in up to right behind the Dazl-Eyes, the hour-shaped glass eye, the barbell eye, whatever you choose to use. And then this actually makes the body. So what you could have done, if you wanted to, is tie in some flat braid, silver, crystal, or whatever, you know, to help build that body up. But I've gone through a lot of these flies already this year on the bass and brim, either losing them in trees, snagging them on the bottom, or a fish breaking me off in there. build up the nose. This is where the concept of the Clouser Minnow kind of gets its, where I kind of say this is kind of like tying in a clouser. The concept there. I'm going to clean up these ends a little bit. And then we're going to put the wing on. And make sure, pull it back so we don't cover our eye, and we'll have to cut it off. Then we're going to come back behind the eye and we're going to give it some tights here. And this is where, like on the Clouser Minnow, you would do that open bar cross wrap back a little bit and then forward. On the Kreelex, it's not done. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but the original concept was that it wasn't. And then we're going to trim this off at the midway point right here. Whatever the midway point of the wing is. Looks like it's just past the curve of the hook bend. And just cut it off even. And then you have enough to do half of a fly on the silver. Trim this up a little bit. I got some materials hanging out through there. Next we're going to take is our gold, and we're going to take a hunk off of that. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this off a little bit. And we're going to counterspin that. And make sure we pull that back a little bit so we don't have to cut anything. And then I kind of tilt it to get the same cut as the overwing for this throat area, or I like to call it maybe the skirt. And then we just build up our head. And then we can whip finish. I got some weird things going on there. We're going to give it 4 or 5 turns. And we'll give it another one there. Doesn't look like it's a very good fly. We'll have to do some trimming. And then we'll add a little head cement to our head. Something weird there. Have to cut that off. Don't know what that is. It looks like a stray piece of gold. And there we have it. In fact, I'm planning on maybe tying a few of these up, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe on a size 2 for some striper fishing over in Georgia here. And there. But there you have it. It's a gold and silver Kraft Kreelex. Originally it was tied just in gold and silver and not this holographic, but I kind of like the different rainbow effects you might see in there, on there. So that was the fly. I hope you enjoyed tying it, or maybe you will tie it. If you want to see more of these flies or other flies that you would like me to demonstrate, that would be okay with me. Just let me know what you want to see, and we'll try to fit it into a thing, or what species you're gonna fish for it, and we'll see what we can do. So give this a try. Give me a like. If you want, you can subscribe, and we'll see you on the water.